You're listening to Were You Still Talking? Welcome back. You are listening to Were You Still Talking? This is Joel Albrecht, and on the show today I have Antonio T. Smith Jr. He is an American tech CEO and millionaire. Maybe the first on the show, but I can't say for sure. He's on pace to become a billionaire in 2025. Now that would be a first. With headquarters on 4 different continents, he's creating 100,000 millionaires while giving away 1.5 billion by 2025. We got to get into this. Antonio is passionate about artificial intelligence and plans to be the first person to create the master algorithm, which he plans to use to create a resource-based society that will completely eliminate the need for money. He is building a city where people of the light share and create harmonious society regardless of race, creed, or religion. His city will have its own currency and soon will become a resource-based economy. That's just the beginning. There's way more than that to this gentleman I have here. Antonio, thank you so much for coming on the show. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I sounded like a Baptist Republican hippie.
Isn't that about right? A Baptist. Oh yes. But also, yeah, that's another thing that there's too many words to read in your various resumes and the amount of accomplishments that you have on this earth. Yeah, absolutely amazing. And you're actually nonpartisan.
Absolutely.
Nonpartisan.
Super nonpartisan.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, the Democrats know how to spend money, Republicans know how to make it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're both guilty on both sides. You know, in fact, you didn't ask me a question yet, but I was thinking about how recently with the turn of Roe versus Wade, how when I was growing up, and I'm just 40, that the Supreme Court was above political sway.
Yes.
Now that's no longer the case, right?
Yeah, and for those of us who are partisan, and I'm further left than Democrats in my way of thinking.
Right.
If there was a third party, if a third party could squeeze in there, I would be there. But
I probably would consider.
Yeah. So that's a scary thing. That's a scary thing because they are definitely supposed to be, and in the entire history, which has been an amazing thing about the U.S., is for our history, they have been above sway by either party, and both conservative and liberal judges have both voted the other way because they followed the letter of the law more or less, and they seem to be swaying from that now.
Seem to be. You're being kind.
I am. Yeah. Oh boy. I mean, yeah.
I'm sure that'll come back up.
There are so many people doing rants on their podcasts and on their news shows that I'm like, I don't really want to go there, but I will if I have to. I won't shy away from it. Yeah. It's just unbelievable. So let's start off. Let's go back though. Let's go way back. The story of how you grew up is kind of a long ways from where you are now. So let me just kind of start there. You were at 6. I think that what I read was at 6 years old you were homeless and living in a dumpster.
Yes,
is this correct?
So I grew up in Galveston, Texas. And what is that, 42nd, 43rd, something like that. And Mechanic, there was this old, so I was born in 1981. There was this paper mill factory that had, the city dumpsters, the ones with the big city truck come with the little 2 forks and they dump it upside down and stuff like that. Yeah, I used to sleep in there. Yeah,
I've dug in those.
You dug in those. There you go.
I've dug in those.
There you go. Yeah, so I grew up, let's see, I didn't get adopted till I was 15. I got legally adopted at 15, so my parents are nowhere near on my birth certificate. It's just one person. Actually, my dad's mother, my biological grandmother, on my dad's side, when they found out, or when she found out what was happening, she adopted me because she didn't want me to go into high school with a chipped tooth, and because I had a chipped tooth at the time, and something else she said. It was something, something Jesus related. It was awesome. Whatever she said, it got me adopted. So I appreciate her. I appreciate her. But from 6 to 15, I failed the 5th grade and the 6th grade back to back. I actually dropped out of school. I kept forging in Texas. I'm in Texas, and we got corporal punishment. And I have no idea how they didn't catch me, but I would put my mom's name in like big 3rd grader block, terrible cursive on on the little school paper, and write Linda Faye McAllister. That's her name. And I would do that, and I would check corporal punishment so it could look cool, as if I could get whipped in school. And the crazy thing is, I can't even think about how many times I got arrested for truancy. If I don't know how we are, if truancy in Texas, truancy is if you're not in school, they arrest you for that. But I was walking to school. I didn't have a bus or nothing like that, right? Anything like that. And the only reason I went to school, I hated school, but I was hungry. I was hungry as hell. And school fed me twice a day. Let's just keep it all the way real. Yeah. It's easier raising yourself when someone else is feeding you twice a day, right? There you go.
That is just amazing. I graduated in 81, but when I just the difference between growing up in Oregon and growing up in Texas. I just can't believe the stuff I got away from in high school. I missed a lot of school. I still somehow graduated. I actually graduated from a community college, but anyway, I don't know how they let us miss so much school.
Yeah, buddy, they got us in trouble down here for sure. At least me for sure. I get in trouble all the time, but I got used to getting in trouble. Shit, I still get in trouble today. So there you go. All right, just good kind of trouble now. All right, this is good kind of trouble.
Yeah, there you go. Fun trouble. And so
how don't lead to partisanship or jail.
So first, before I ask you how you went from that to being ready to give away $1 billion, how did you go from hating school to getting 2 different degrees?
I still hate school. I hated school.
You still
hated degrees. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. I still. But the crazy thing is, I graduated President Honor Society with my bachelor's, and I did a minor. Plus, I graduated #1 in my master's level. But I didn't like school. I hated being lied to. And I think that's interesting that you asked that question, because this universe finds different ways to motivate you. And I didn't like that I was asking questions I wouldn't get the answer. So I was like, fine, I'll go to school and get my answer. That's that competitive side of me, which is stupid competitive, not towards other people. But if you tell me I can't do something or anything like that, you probably shouldn't do that. I'm like Michael Jordan. I look for reasons to have an edge. So that's how I got through school. Just looking for that edge every time I showed up. I'm looking for a reason to prove that I belong here.
That's amazing. That's incredible. And how did you go from that to now being a millionaire, and you have multiple companies, right? Or you have a company with multiple businesses?
Both hands.
Both.
Both hands. Yeah, I got multiple companies. I have, I think, I've got over 100 streams of income. It's pretty. It's okay. It's all right. For sure. What happened was I was starting a football team, or at least trying to be. I was free safety. And I made a tackle against a rival, and I broke my shoulder to a subluxation, to where it was popped out, but it wasn't in right. So my skin is just hanging there. And then me being,
ouch.
Oh, it hurt like hell too. Yeah, that's for sure. But me being me, I stay in the game because this is my way out the hood. And so I was a senior year. I got adopted freshman year. So I'm really 4 years old, right? This is like 4th year. I actually have a shot to get out the hood, go to college or something. So I'm not leaving the game. The next play, I tear up my shoulder. And there was this, I tear up my shoulder again. So I messed it up even worse. And now I can't feel my fingers. And I wind up getting, major surgery. The school obviously paid for it. And now my senior year is done for. Or my senior year is done for. And there was this speech and debate coach that took a liking to me. Michael Merritt is his name. And he said, you should join the speech team. And 6 months before that, my senior year, I did. And the only reason he got me there, he was like, there's going to be girls there. Because the whole other time I was like, I don't want, nerd stuff. And he's like, going to be girls there. And I was like, well, you know what? Let me reconsider.
That's so funny because that's the actor's story. So many actors tell that same story.
There you go. There you go. And turns out I wound up being really good at speech and debate. I went undefeated, qualified for state of Texas, and wound up being the number 11th speaker in poetry and prose in the state of Texas in the year 2000. They got accepted to every single school in Texas because speech and debate has that kind of power, at least in Texas it does. And then I say, nope, college is stupid. It's not for me because I hate school. I go join the Army. I joined the Army. I joined the Army. And apparently I'm pretty smart. I score a 78 on my ASVAB. You only need 31. I'm going for computer automated systems repair. I score a 78 on my ASVAB, but my GT score, which is like the Army's equivalent of an IQ score, is 157. And right there, they tell me, no, you're not going to be 35 Juliet or whatever the hell it was. They say, you're going to be military intelligence. And I go, what? What is that? I never heard of this. I never heard of military intelligence. And 8 days later, my delayed entry program was 8 days. It's supposed to be something like 6 months or some weeks. It was 8 days. I'm now military intelligence and intelligence analyst. That's at Fort Littlewood, Missouri. And then one day, these dudes with beards and camos show up, and they don't have on their BDU tops, and it happens to be Special Forces. And then I was coming out of 2-a-day practices from football. I'm incredibly intelligent, at least they say so. And then some other top secret stuff happened. Now I got a top secret security clearance, SCI, and become a special operations intelligence sergeant. So that's how the heck I got here.
I love that. I love the little bit of humility in that story. I feel like you're just putting that in there. You might be intelligent. Yeah, I think you might be. It's just possible. It's a little bit. It's a little bit of smarts. Yeah, you test well anyway. You really I test well. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So
I had no idea that existed. And then when I became special operations, and then they taught me how to do psychological operations and control large crowds and do other stuff that if I say, we both gonna die. And then,
Did you stare at goats? Have you ever seen The Men Who Stare at Goats?
Oh, I love that movie. I love that movie. No, I never stared at goats. I don't think I'm that good. Right? I love that movie. But then after that, man, I got shell shocked. I went to jail 13 times when I got out the military because I spent 90%. Oh, I joined the Army August 2nd, 2000. So you're talking about Operation, I'm going to say the names, 2001, September 11th, and then 2003.
Oh, yeah.
You're right, 2000. That's like, I'm gone. I'm totally gone. 90% of my time in the military gone. In combat. So I'm 18, 19 years old. Now I'm a sergeant. So I'm 20 years old leading 40-year-old men doing stuff. And then I come back shell shocked. And I went to jail 13 times in 1 year because I am violent. I can't adjust. I cannot adjust. And I'm sitting in the jail cell. No felonies, just, public intoxication, dumb stuff, right? Just dumb stuff. And I sit in there and I go, I should probably do something with my life.
Some was telling you that maybe this wasn't the best way to spend the rest of your life.
When you make the same mistake 13 times. I think on the 13th time,
boy, you're starting to hit home. Something was starting to click there.
Yeah, no, you know, it just took 13. Man. It didn't take me 14. It took me 13. And I sit there, man. I go, so what do I know how to do? And I only have 3 answers. I know how to play spades. They train me to kill people, and I know how to control large groups. That's it. That's all I know how to do. I don't know how to do anything else. I don't know how to do anything else. So I figured I'll figure out how to control large groups, because killing people is probably not the best option.
Probably
and playing
not.
Spades, yeah,
it doesn't work out in the end.
And playing spades probably didn't have much money in it. And so I start figuring out marketing and all sorts of stuff, and then computer programming, and the rest is history.
I mean, I know we're laughing about this, but I think that's this is a problem a lot of people that come back from that situation have, is they just spent years learning how and killing people, and then they come back to normal society, in air quotes, and that's not the same thing. It's a different world.
No.
Yeah.
No, then when you come back to the neighborhood you grew up in, it's even worse. It's even worse, because everything's moving slower. You feel like you're going backwards. I got extreme PTSD. I'm incredibly proficient in Krav Maga, close quarters combat, so I can't have people around. It's just weird, man. It's absolutely. Then I got all this aggression that I don't know how to turn off anymore, because they made me turn it on. You know, they made me turn it on, and I don't know how to turn it off. And now, like, even to this day, as a 40-year-old man, I'm still addicted to adrenaline. So I'll sit in a quiet room and I'll be like, why y'all so quiet? Really, chemically, my body is like, hey, do something stupid. Let's jump out of a plane. Right?
Oh, man. Man.
So, and naturally, I'm an introvert. I learned all these extroverted skills, but I have to do something. So I have to super read a book, or I have to, like, if I was a drug addict, I would be like the best version of a drug addict possible. If I was a loser, I would be like a professional loser, like whatever. There's no in between.
You would have the nastiest van down by the river anyone's ever seen. No one would want to see.
Oh, I had a whole mullet and a shag. I had all of it.
Oh, man. Oh, it's interesting. I was in a play about war correspondence, and so we had a war correspondent come and talk about it from the university where I live, and it's amazing because they like it, right? And so because of what you're talking about, because of this adrenaline rush, and they're not having to shoot at anybody, although they are getting shot at, but they're not, it's a different frame of mind, and they feel like Supermen or women, because when they come back and they're still alive, and they've made it, and then they go back. This guy had done it for over 20 years.
Wow.
And he was talking about how when he would land somewhere, and him and another person who's more well known, they would instantly be surrounded by troops, because they figured being next to them, they're probably not going to get shot.
That's about right.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, but just the way he was talking about that environment and how different it is from anywhere. I mean, there is nothing like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm even an intense parent. I'm an intense parent too. I've got 3 beautiful kids. Yesterday, like right after this interview, I'm going to take them to the basketball court. We play basketball every day now, because my oldest, the 13-year-old, has somehow, he wants to be a basketball star now, or at least really good at it. And the 10-year-old, boy, we're not going to leave him behind, because why would you do that? I'm the middle child, right? And then my little girl, who was 4, is like, I run the house, so you taking me to the park too. So yesterday I had them all at the park, and I was like going through fatigue drills. I'm like, hey, no, we did like 7 basketball games in a row. And as soon as my oldest started bending over, I was like, don't do that. All right. I was like, don't bend over. And I was like, just your job is to show me you're not tired. So I'm telling my 13-year-old.
And this is your
Somewhere there's
Oh,
a psychologist on your podcast going, "Oh my God, give me his number.
Yeah,
No,
well,
please give me his number.
this guy.
He needs help." so I'm telling a 13-year-old, like, no, your job is to like talk smack to me. Your job is to beat me and stand up because this is psychological. And then once we finish, we're now this time we tired. We both tired. We missing shots, easy shots. When the game was over, I called both my boys buddy. I was like, buddy, what you missed was I was tired because I couldn't even hit layups no more. My legs couldn't follow through.
Right,
So,
right.
Right. You get it? So I was like, next time when you know I'm tired, show me you're not and watch how much you win the game. And it's just a crazy lesson, but I'm glad I taught it to him. Now, how is he going to apply that? You know, when he's 20, I have no idea, but he's got it now. Right?
But he's got it. It's in there.
There.
When I was in junior high, we had a gym teacher who was doing physical fitness classes. So now I'm forgetting what they call it today, but everyone goes to these, pays tons of money to go get beat up with these fitness coaches, where they do all kinds of different types of fitness. He was doing that when he was way before his time. And we hated the guy. We all hated the guy, but it taught me how to work out. It taught me it gave me the love of physical exercise, which I didn't really have before that. And he would drive us to, we were doing crawls back and forth across the gym. We were doing sits, up against the wall, all this stuff that I had never even thought of. And he would line us up against the wall in the chair. That's what you call it, where you're sitting like a chair, but there's no chair.
Basketball positions is what I call it. Yeah.
And if someone falls, you start over. And this was in junior high, so it was not good for the guy who always fell. Later I realized, that's terrible for that poor kid because no one's liking him. But it gave me a love for working out, which I can't do now because of several different injuries. As I'm older than 40.
Just a little bit.
I'm past 40, a couple days. But that it did. That instilled in me, I kept working out until I had injuries later in life. But it made a difference. I never forgot that.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Like right now, my ankles are totally spaghetti right now. No cartilage. Whatever cartilage is going on down there, it's not doing its job properly. It's not even close to doing it. No, it's not doing its job. And I'm still take them out and stuff. And then I'm going to tell them after the game. I've already like had the imaginary conversation in my head. I'm gonna tell both of them, all right, see, I can barely walk. So you guys got to keep going, right? Like but I'm trying to get something we learned especially. I'm gonna say some top secret.
All right. It's, the second best thing to getting a guest to cry is to get him to say something top secret.
I know, right? It's something they taught me with military training. There we go. Is your body is going to try to shut down on you at 40%, or your mind is going to try to shut your body down at 40%. So as soon as you hit some resistance, your body says, okay, your brain says, as long as you don't get to 40%, we're good. And you don't even break a sweat at 40%. That's most people in life are walking around here cruising at 30%, praying for a financial breakthrough, but not even investing 10% of their income in themselves, right? So that's just not going to work at all. That's not going to work. And then they taught us, once you get to that point, you've got 60% left, and there's a way that you override that, and when you do, then your body says, fine, if this is the new normal, here's some endorphins to kill the pain that you got going on, right? And you got to think about it this way. If I was homeless at 6, down at 15, I'm really an animal, really, because I'm like just Neanderthal, just wandering around the city of Galveston. And then finally I get stuck into civilization. So now I'm Tarzan. And this family of communicators, I'm like, me, Tarzan, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do all that stuff. And then I join the army. I'm 4 years old and I join the army. And the army literally gets me with no mother, no father, not a care in the world, no emergency contacts, super physically fit.
The perfect soldier. And smart.
That's why my delayed entry program was 8 days.
Yeah. Whoa, exactly. They were, that's the perfect combination for them. Absolute perfect combination.
That's it.
It is.
They take very good care of me today.
Yeah.
So shout out to the VA. They take very good care of me today.
Oh, that's good, because I know they don't always. They don't everybody.
No, they suck.
So
they take good care of me.
Well, that's good to know. It's good to know. But the part you were talking about of we only use 40%. That the Wim Hof method is talking about that all the time. I don't know if you know Wim Hof.
No, I don't, but I like it already.
Wim Hof, look this guy up.
Okay.
He's an extreme athlete, is how he climbed to fame. He's now a lot older, but he has done these ridiculous runs in the desert. He's run up mountains naked, basically in a pair of shorts, but with nothing else. Run up mountains that this should kill you. It should absolutely kill you, but he told himself that it would not. And so he did it. And now the Wim Hof method is basically, it's breathing exercises where you're taking yourself beyond what you think you can do. And then it's ice baths. So if you know about the popularity of ice baths, a lot of that is coming from him. That's where it came from, is Wim Hof. And that's all about... He prefers to sit in real ice, like to go to an iced over lake and get in the thing. And that's what he's about. It's like, it's all your mind. Like you don't start out 5 minutes in the lake. You start out just for a little bit. Wow. But it's incredible. They actually did scientific tests on him where his mind now works differently than everyone else's.
Absolutely it does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It works completely. Yeah. It's completely different.
Yeah, he's got parts of his brain firing that don't even fire for everybody else.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sure you can like stab him a little bit, not like too much. He don't feel none of that stuff.
He can shut his heart down, basically. He can sit in a bucket of ice for 30 minutes, which would kill some people. Wow. But he shuts down his heart to where it's going so slow that it's like he's in shock. Wow. But he's not. He's fine. It's really... Yeah,
he doesn't need that much oxygen if he's doing that. He's the bionic man. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I was born in '81. I got a little memory about the bionic man, just a little bit.
But it's like you're talking about. You've got capabilities. Everyone has this capability. Oh, yeah. It's a matter of being able to push yourself, which I admit I'm not good at sitting in buckets of ice. But NFL was using these techniques in the '60s, right? They were putting people in ice baths forever, and it's just now becoming something that people know about.
I have no desire to sit in the bucket of ice. Ice. I don't even like ice in my water. It's like, so I have no desire. And if the only way I would do it is someone would have to tell me I can't. And then should I decide to prove them wrong? Yeah. Then I would sit there and suffer.
You would sit there and do it.
I would sit there and do it just because. So no one challenged me. You're gonna get like a bunch of messages. Now I challenge you.
Exactly. Now you'll get it. If anyone was to listen to the podcast, we'll see.
I know, right?
So, let me see. There's a lot to cover here. But one thing is, you have been podcasting for a long, long time. You have a lot of different podcast episodes. I mean, it's one thing I like to investigate on my podcast, because podcasting is still new-ish. Like, how did you got started before it was such a thing?
I did. Yeah. So my podcast is top ranked. We do about, I know each episode in the first 30 days would get something like 75,000 downloads. That's not counting the streams and the plays. And so it was somewhere about the end of the month it reached like 1 million, 2 million. So it's top ranked, but it's not because I'm good. It's because I outlasted everybody who quit.
Bang, there it is. There it is. I mean, I think that's one of the big things about Joe Rogan is that, for one, he was famous already, but he podcasted every day and he just kept doing it.
Can't beat that.
He still does it.
He still does
that's incredible drive. He got paid $100 million. Oh, I still need to do it every day. Why would I slack off?
Every day.
Yeah.
So I do it. And yeah, so it's up there. And I think we're approaching 1,000 episodes pretty soon for sure. And that's actually a reboot of, I actually started podcasting in 2012.
Wow.
2012 is when I started podcasting. And in the weirdest way, well, so I'm very eclectic. Like if I open up my Apple playlist right now, I've got Florida Georgia Line, and I have Avril Lavigne, and I got Tupac, which doesn't seem to make any sense. Like that's. Then I have some gospel, which really doesn't make any sense. Then contemporary Christianity, and then I have some Gregorian chant music. I'm like really weird the way I do everything, and I also draw inspiration from many places. And I was listening to the Bill Maher podcast because my commute to college. I started college 2011. And I went and I was like, man, I got to listen to something. This hour drive is boring. And Houston has some serious traffic. I'm listening to the Bill Maher podcast. And I was like, man, this guy's really good. And Bill Maher. And you lean to left. Bill Maher is one of my favorite people, left or right.
He's
one of my favorites.
He's really intelligent.
Yes,
he's really intelligent.
Yes,
I mean, sometimes he says things of course, I don't agree with, but yeah, he is very intelligent. Yeah. Actually, he has people on and kind of degrades people sometimes, which I don't like.
That made me stop listening for about 4 years. It did.
Yeah, because that's not a good thing. But he's obviously extreme.
He's really good. He's
smart.
really good. Even when I disagree with him, it's like funny.
That's good.
Funny.
That's good.
Yeah, when I disagree with him, I'm listening to his podcast. I say, well, let me try another one. And then I go find this guy named Andy Stanley, some little guy with a 30,000 member church, 5 campuses, who has this little small dad named Charles Stanley, who's on everyone's TV, preaching at the Big Baptist Church, little small Big Baptist Church on ABC. And I'm like, who the hell is this Andy Stanley guy? And I was like, my grandmother used to watch Charles Stanley, and he had this podcast to where he had his assistant. It was called the Leadership Podcast with Andy Stanley. And it was just him and his assistant. And I was like, holy crap, I'm learning a lot in this podcast. Wait a minute. I can learn from podcasts? Because I was listening to Bill Maher for a commute. But I'm now, but I'm now learning from Andy Stanley. And then I go to my assistant because I'm in business, right? I'm actually putting myself to school. I go to my assistant and I say, hey, we got to do a podcast. And she's like super duper uber crazy introvert. And so I tell her, no, we're doing a podcast. Before she can disagree, I put that noise cancellation headphones in. We got no equipment. I go to the little audio thing. And this is back in the day when Apple would only let you record or send off 8 minutes at a time with email.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I hit record. And I put the headphones by her because her voice is so low. And boom, we started the podcast just like that. She said, what is it called? I say, brick by brick, because I'm building this as I make it right now.
Nice.
Yeah, just like that. And that's how I got started, because I was so inspired by a Christian preacher, a white Christian preacher, considering I'm a black man with dreads, right? So
right.
Oh,
you are, aren't you? Oh, look at that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yes. Just let that in on you, right? Yeah. So that was just. I think that's pretty cool. How if you're open-minded, you can really. Everybody should be learning from everybody. As a matter of fact, let me just say this, and I'm on my soapbox right now. If you can't accept opposing viewpoints, you really should keep your mouth shut. Really, genuinely. I'm not saying agree with opposing viewpoints, but you gotta let people talk. Right? You have to let people express their viewpoints. You just have to. Or it's not an argument. And the definition of an argument, it's a monologue, and we die over monologue. We kill people over monologues. But we tend to have peace when there's a dialogue.
Oh, that's good. That's yeah, that's really good. I tend not to invite opposing views on my show for certain. I mean, you probably have very different views than I do on a lot of things. There's just a certain line.
I am a contradiction for sure.
For everything.
Contradiction. Yeah.
And that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean,
stay on brand. Don't invite opposing viewpoints on brand, but you got to at least.
That's the thing. Yeah, I don't really have a brand. I just don't want to. I don't want my podcast to be about arguments and about and the funny thing is. I can cut out everything they were saying and just print what I was saying. And that's no good. Awesome. That's not fair. That'd be
awesome. No, I completely agree with you because everything is about the light, right? And, especially, light bearers. We definitely don't want that. We definitely don't want that.
Well, that's a big part of it for me too. I'm about trying to put positive energy into the world. There's enough negative energy, so that's a big part of why I keep doing this. I don't know really why I keep doing this, but when people like you show up, it reminds me having a conversation from someone across the country, who is very different than me, raised different than me. Obviously, amazing energy to talk to. It's what podcasting is. It's what it's about. It's
we click in like 30 seconds too. Yeah. We click in like 30 seconds. True. It didn't take long at all.
I think it was hello, and that was
that was it. How you doing? Hello. Yeah. And, hey, assistant, go get me some brown liquor.
And when you said that didn't hurt either. Single malt's my favorite.
That's it. Give me some scotch. That's it. That's my favorite.
Oh man. So, but this is kind of a good segue too. When you were talking about it, how do you react when Bill Maher is saying that anyone who believes in any kind of spirituality is some kind of voodoo?
Here's the crazy part is.
I mean, it cracks me. I'm not religious, but I do believe in the spirit world. I understand. I believe in God, even though I'm not a religious person.
Right.
I'm not an atheist either by a long shot.
No.
Do you by any chance know Michael Beckwith?
Not personally.
Okay.
Not personally. Yeah, not personally.
Okay, I thought I maybe in your travels, but he was a huge inspiration to me.
Oh,
A friend of ours took us to his church. I lived down there.
Oh, wow.
And a friend of ours took us there to see the choir. This choir is amazing. You got to see this choir. She was a singer. And I was like, the choir is good, but this guy's amazing. Mind-boggling.
Yes, he is amazing.
Yeah, his energy is just beautiful.
I enjoyed him in The Secret, too. Enjoy them in The Secret. Yeah, absolutely. Bill Maher is I tend to like, so this is going to be like, if you're going to have a viral section of comments, this is probably going to be the section. This is
perfect.
I'm going to contradict myself 15 times right here in this section for sure. My bachelor's is in Christianity. My minor's is in biblical languages. And my master's is in theological arts of studies. And I'm not religious. And I don't go to a church anymore. So I'm already contradicting right there.
Beautiful. Okay, I love it. Yes, I love it.
Yes. I have commentaries that I've written that are in colleges, yet I have no intentions on writing another. And I go out throughout the scholarly circles because I'm a scholar and I just listen. And it's not that I don't like it, and it's not that I do like it. It's what I mentioned. I kind of slid it in there. I didn't like being lied to. I'm trying to figure out what is the truth around here. Someone tell me, Pastor, is this the truth? Well, I can't answer that. Damn it, I'm going to school to go find out. Right? So this is the only reason.
Tell me the truth. It's got to be here in these 5,000-year-old books.
So I go to church looking for the truth. Don't get it. I go to college looking for the truth. They're lying. So I'm like, okay, you know what? At this point, where is the truth? That's what spirituality comes in, right? Where is the truth? So it's funny because every time Bill Maher just attacks religion, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's kind of stupid. But then I'm laughing because he does it in this way that's clever. And I've boiled it down to why I'm so, I don't know if I'm good at it, but why I frequently am always with people who either hate people like me or just hate, period. Because I love sound arguments. I don't care what you believe. I just care that you're willing to defend it.
Oh, how interesting.
I have no idea where that came from. I have no idea where that came from. As long as you have an argument, you stand for that and you defend it without, I don't know, whatever like an actual argument, not that, that's just because I said so. That is the dumbest thing in the world for me. No, was like, I want to bring positive viewpoints here because I got a brand and this and I want positive news. That was a solid argument, and I like that. But to say no because I don't want it, just because I say what I said. Now you one of those people lying to everybody, right? And I don't like that. If you present your argument and it is sound, then you know what? I'm not gonna say anything about it. Case in point. Viral note here. Donald Trump got on stage and said, "Black people, hell, you ain't got nothing to lose. Vote for me." And I went, why am I not offended? Wait a minute. Why is everybody around me offended? And I went, wait a minute. That was a solid argument right there. Like literally, I literally said to myself, so do we not have nothing to lose? And I was like, no, that's not necessarily the case. And I was like, well, what is it? What makes me not want to slap him in his mouth right now? What is it, right? And I'm thinking this hard thing. And I was like, that's a negative comment. Why? And I don't like negativity. And I'm like, What is it? What is it? And then it dawned on me. Oh, perception. A lot of people think that. He is talking to a lot of people. And it woke me up. Because it made me realize something. It made me realize that truth is truth if you're talking to people who accept it as truth. It doesn't have to be truth. Now, we're not talking about objective truth. That's because this is not a philosophical argument.
Not the ultimate truth.
No. We're
talking about opinionated proof.
Opinionated. And I'm like, man.
Opinionated proof. I should trademark that.
You sure should. You sure should. That's as good as alternative facts, right? And this was the valuable lesson I learned from Donald Trump, and I'm never, ever going to forget it. When he said that, and I was having a really hard time why everybody around me is offended and why I wasn't. And it's not, I didn't like what he said. I don't like the plight of the black man in America. I don't like any of that stuff. But I'm saying to myself, there's something here that resonates with me, and it dawned on me, and I'm never going to forget it. I said to myself, that's interesting, because no one can prove him wrong because they're not trying to, and they don't have the microphone. And I sat back and I said to myself, so what's more important, the microphone being proved wrong, no one trying, or the mere fact that he keeps saying hot liners getting free TV time while everybody else is paying for it? And that right there, I said to myself, I get it now. He is strategically being a genius, and we think he's dumb.
I've always wondered about that. And I've pretty much decided that no, he's just dumb. But that's a very, I definitely accept that point. I definitely accept that. Other than the fact that he's lied about everything. If he hadn't lost almost every time that he ever gained, then I would think differently. But no, and that makes sense. What you're saying makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. And I think we pretty much proved that it made a difference. I think it made a difference. And
inflation right now is pretty incredible.
Well, I mean, to the black man in America, I think it made a difference.
Oh, a huge difference.
I think it made a difference.
Huge difference.
And you're saying you don't like the plight of the black man right now? Is that what you're?
Both and. That's both
Holy
and. Yeah. That's
crap.
both and. So you have.
See, I grew up in the 80s, right?
Oh,
And
okay.
I grew up in the 80s. I graduated in 81. In the 70s, my parents were politically fighting all the stuff that we are now talking about 50 years later. In the 80s, we thought, hey, we got this under control. This is going good. And then the world exploded in the last 2 years. It's like,
Right.
it's not going too good. And I'll be honest, I see it from the Reagan era.
Oh, yeah.
The Reagan-Bush era is where this kind of stuff started. But I don't know. I'm getting off topic.
Well, you know what? I would love to respond to that because I just happened to be, I did a keynote somewhere. I don't remember where. No, I do. I was in Chicago. And it was a room. So I have a large audience. Most of my audience is baby boomers. I guess I'm just old and sold. Maybe that's it, but whatever. I have no idea. And then a significant chunk of my audience is older white men. I have no idea how, and alpha black women. I have no idea how I've done that. Older white men, alpha black women. I'm not sure what the connection is. Nobody can figure it out, but so be it. That's my audience. And I'm in the keynote and I'm somewhere. On the left side of the keynote of the room is the Nation of Islam. And then in the middle are white bankers. This sounds like a joke. The Nation of Islam and white bankers are in the room.
Yeah, exactly. Walked into a
keynote.
Yeah.
But that is the truth. And I sit there and I tell everybody, I said, I've been walking around for 2 hours before this thing started. And I recognize two things in this room. Number one, I recognize that more than ever, we are all one. I reckon this is the first thing I say. I say separation is an illusion. Number two, I recognize that since I'm young, the same people who raised me are the same people who saying we're messing up the world. And I said, do me a favor, everybody, and recognize at 40 years old, I have not signed into act too many laws. None, zero, right? There's totally been facetious. And I said, also, baby boomers, you're the most lied to generation on planet Earth. Number one. And then this is what I said this. And I thought I was going to get stoned to death for tomatoes, but they actually clapped. I said, here's the problem that I see it. Baby boomers rushed in my age to Congress. And they've been in there the whole time. Because you brought up Reagan, the very baby boomers that got to Congress and start writing laws are the very baby boomers still writing the laws. And all it did was screw over baby boomers. You're the most lied on generation that has ever existed on this planet. You're not getting your Social Security. Your taxes are way too high. You just can't get it. And by the time I get 65, if Social Security just won't even exist, it just won't even be there. And I told them, we did it to ourselves. Well, I said, no, I'm too young. You did it to yourselves. That's what I told them. And I kid you not. They was like, you're right. And I was like, oh, great crowd. Yeah. We voted ourselves in, and then we're paying for the laws that we voted ourselves in with. Crazy.
It is. It's absolutely nuts. And I mean, it's come to a point where I'm not sure who is voting in who anymore because of how our system has changed and how difficult it's become. I mean, that's one of the biggest problems I have with politics today is, and one of the politicians love this. I have a harder and harder time wanting to be a part of it, and that's what they want because it is very much controlled by extreme wealth. And if you can't even get into a lot of states, you can't even get into local politics, but you definitely can't get into national politics without having incredible amounts of financial backing. Yeah,
in 2016, I ran for president. I absolutely ran for president.
All right.
I really did.
That's great. Way to go.
I really did.
Way to go.
Well, I didn't win, obviously.
Well, still, you got in there. You ran.
Well, I couldn't get to the debates because they have it set up. And I didn't know this to where we had the money, obviously, but you got to have so many individual donors plus a certain dollar amount. That's how you get to. So you're right. To your point, it's pay for play.
Right. It's pay to play.
It really is. It really is. It really is. When Jon Stewart and John Oliver are probably the most reasonable voices in politics today. And they're not even politicians.
Jon Stewart has explained so many things to me on when he had a show. His new show is not quite as good, but when he had the Daily Show, he would explain so many points to me that, in a way that I could understand it, and it was hilarious, absolutely hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah.
And John Oliver
again, he's genius, and he's looking at it from outside the U.S. So even though he's been here a long time, he's still looking at it from a different viewpoint.
Yeah, he just became like a citizen sometime like January this year. So kudos to him. I'm happy for him. Yeah, but I will voice a reasoning. I think people like you on podcasts. This is why podcasts is. I think now you're in the golden area of podcasts. This was like that. I think this is now not the 2012. We were definitely the early adopters. I think this is the gold. This is for podcasts. It's like Facebook's 2009 when everybody got on Facebook in 2009.
Right.
That's what's happening right now in podcasts. The podcast has become the new radio. And since we got so busy, radio is just as important in our lives now as it used to be in the 50s. Right.
That's true, right?
Yeah, because we're so busy that we want to listen to things on the go, even if it's video. We're listening. Phone is in our pocket or something. Bluetooth. People like you, especially with the positive news. I actually own a news station that's nothing but positive news. No, positive in business news. No politics whatsoever. That's how I'm. When people say I'm nonpartisan, I'm not just nonpartisan. I'm like non-politics.
None at all. Well, it's interesting because I've lately been doing sort of guided meditations with someone named Muji. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever heard of Muji, but I
think I have. I love guided meditation.
Yeah, and it's Eastern philosophies, and it's about how the truth is actually in the silence, right? The truth is not. We're not going to get to the truth talking here. No matter how much we talk, we will not get there. It's in the silence. It is within, right? The truth is within, and which encompasses the entire universe. If you get quiet enough, apparently I haven't seen this yet, but I am told if you get quiet enough, you will see everything. You will understand, and that's where the truth is. And that's what is. We can debate forever. And that's a problem I have with, presidencies and politics and governments is that there are no borders. That's a lie in itself.
Yeah,
if you go to the Canadian border and you're not at the border crossing, you will not see a line, right? There's no line there. If you fly over the country, there's not lines for the states. They don't exist. So. That's a big problem to me. I mean, people talk about being patriotic. It's patriotism.
There was no such thing as patriotic in like 1750. There was no such thing.
Right.
That's when the age of the Islam was happening in 1800. There's no such thing.
And sometimes, people might hate me for this, but sometimes patriotism is a way to make people hate other people. It's a way to come up to say it's a tribal thing. It came from 100,000 years ago. We've always had this.
Yep.
If that other tribe is trying to get food where your food is, you should hate them. That's really old. It's really old.
It's really old. No, I'm glad you said that because I'm working on a book. It's nowhere near out, so I'm not even promoting it. It's called Resegregation. And I'm not arguing for resegregation, but it's a fancy title. It's going to catch attention. Mm-hmm. But the subtitle is what I'm arguing for. The facts of the Black oppression, the facts of the Black solution, and the facts of the white ally. It's a really good book. I've been working on it for 6 years now. And to your point about tribal activity, the white ally is the most underappreciated person on planet Earth. And listen, okay, so let me just talk about positive vibes. Here we go. Oh, ye people listening, a black man is telling you who has a pure free thinker that white allies are getting the brunt of oppression, and it's not fair. And it's not fair. And as positive as possible, I'll say it, but I've got to walk through a painful, muddy line here. The moment you invite me to your podcast, they're going to call you a liberal. Number one. They're already doing it right now. You're used to it. But liberal today has taken on a different meaning. And I'm going to say this, and this might be the second time on air I've ever said it. First time on someone else's platform. And it's kind, but it's truth. This is the problem with the white ally. The problem with the white ally is the moment you attempt to help me, you get treated like me. And this is incredibly unfair because in order to create equality, those in power must create equality. Like my left hand isn't as big as my right hand, and my left boob isn't as big as my right boob. Like you have to create, like spiritually speaking, to have truth in the silence, equality must be created by the strong. You're not allowed to see inequality and be silent. This is what we use silent the wrong way. And to your point, we use this tribal thinking. I watch it now. Now, this is me on the outside. Like John Oliver, I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican. So I have really good outside eyes. As soon as you say anything, and we've emotionally democratized everything. If you eat meat, you're on the right. If you say you're vegan, you're a leftist.
You're a libertard.
You're a libertard. You're a libtard. And this is so good because I've figured out something on the outside. I'm not telling you I'm right, but we've as a black man, the war, nobody's writing laws to keep me out. They write laws to keep you out. Like you are competition, not me. I'm lucky, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? You are the company. They're writing laws to keep you, Mr. Joel, out, not me, because I'm irrelevant. So all the laws have been written against you. And then we think about it. So every time they call you a libtard or something, it's almost a racial slur, not like the N word, but the N word lover. As if
it is indeed, because the people that made up that term are I'll just say it, racist assholes. I mean,
there you go.
This word was made up as a way to piss people off and to divide people. I mean, it's all about dividing people, no matter who we are. The more divided we are, the more that one side thinks they have more power. And it's about power too, because
of course.
Everyone wants power. That's what it's all about. Get more power, more power, more power. And it's
more power.
Oh,
I know, like they throw the leftists around and the libtard. Yeah. And it's genuinely like they're marking you to say, oh, he's with Antonio.
Oh, exactly. Right? It's true. And and those laws that you're talking about that keep me out, there are laws that they're like the whole political correctness movement. See? This is something that is gone way off the rails, way off the rails. I mean, there are college professors being basically demonized for teaching facts because those facts aren't politically correct. And it's this is nuts. That's not liberal. That's not liberal at all. That's stupid. That is stupid. And but the fact that there are laws that were made in the 60s, and so you could get a job. So you could go to school at all. So you could go to a college. The fact that those laws had to be made to me is terrible. It's terrible that they had to be made, but it was a way so that, so that everyone could have a chance. And now it's gone. Some people think it's gone too far, and it makes it so I don't have the same chance. But that's not really true. I could have joined the army. I could have gone.
It's not true.
It's absolutely not true. It's not true.
No, and it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair to you. And here's the deal: you're not allowed to say it's not fair to you, because if you do, well, then you're being spoiled, right? So on one hand, to be friends with me or to say gay rights or whatever gets you called a leftist, right? Whatever gets you called that, you're white,
Doesn't take much.
Don't take much at all. And the argument, if this is, I'm going to so defend all white people right now, right? The deal is, or at least all white people on the left, the deal is, and this again, it's just like very positive. You are wrong because you know better. You should be one of us. And so now you have to choose what is one of us. Is one of us like not being positive? Is one of us creating invisible borders and stuff like that? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then so you say, okay, then so I won't be. I will think for myself. Oh, you're going to think for yourself, you leftist, you libtard. So you genuinely, if you're too white to be accepted by black people because I don't trust you, and then you're too left to be accepted by white people. Like you can't do anything right. You genuinely can't do anything right. And I have a whole section of the book when I'm talking about this, because I work with a lot of remember, in my case, I got opposing viewpoints. I work with a lot of people who never would have anything in common when we get something in common, right? When you have a set of ideas and beliefs and you want change, you want to raise the collective consciousness of this world, you can't really do that talking to whoever you look like. It's like trying to be a bridge with footing.
Right.
Yeah. You want to be a bridge with footings on one side of the ravine. That's not a bridge.
Right. Right. Well, it's a lot of people had a lot of people, including myself, had problems with the Black Lives Matter movement for that reason. Mm-hmm. They came up with these slogans that no one understood, and they decided they had to keep them because no one understands them. And that's what it seemed like. It's like if you have to explain your movement, you need to come up with something that makes more sense to people, Man, something that makes more sense.
You bring up a really good point, man. You are on it right now. You are on it right now. I'm saying like Black Lives Matter was intended to be like Black Lives Matter 2.
Right.
But then propaganda, because this is how you kill things real quick.
Yep.
Then it was like saying, oh no, just Black Lives Matter. So now we got blue. And once the Blue Lives Matter came out, it was over. It was over after that. It was completely over. Now, and I'm a veteran, so I'm obviously pro-police. Some stuff just makes sense. I'm a veteran. Mm-hmm. That does not mean I'm not also pro-black. And it does not mean I'm not also pro-white, because I think I'm spending more time defending white people right now than I have even defended the plight of the black man, right? You can be all these things with no problem, because when you're about, as this podcast is, and I listened to 3 episodes, it's all about positive vibes. That kind of means being positive, not positive to who I feel like I like, or not saying, oh, God, save this person because I like them. No, you have to do all these people. It doesn't matter if you disagree with me. Do I like to disagree with me? No, my ego hates that all the time. Would you ever know it? No, of course you won't know it, because my job is to value harmony over my ego.
It's about people. It's about people, not what color that person is, or what religion that person is, or what they're following. I mean, unless they're KKK, but that's a different story.
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. You draw the line. Let me take off my little jacket on that one right there. Exactly. I draw the line right there too.
Hold on 1 minute. Yes. But it's about people. I mean,
even Homeland Security draws the line on that one.
It's true. Oh yeah, it's one of their biggest threats right now. One of their biggest threats. But
Yeah,
I've always liked that saying that be kind to people. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know what their story is. You don't know what they've been through, because
I
all of
agree.
us are going through something.
I agree.
Um, and so it's yeah,
No, I
and
agree. I
yeah,
mean, a lot of people are one hug away from suicide.
right. A lot of
Yeah,
people.
yeah. You have
Yeah,
no idea
yeah.
when you, man. Yeah. We might want to stay off that subject, but just if you are thinking about suicide, you just reach out. Somebody has a hug for you, right? We'll extend you 6 minutes. I can't promise you 6 hours, but I give you 6 minutes, yeah? And then 6 minutes
Yeah.
from now, I give you another 6 minutes, right?
That
Like,
is it's a beautiful thing.
it's a
I
beautiful
had
thing.
a comedian on my podcast who does comedy about suicide, believe it or not.
Wow, nice.
And he puts his phone number out for anyone who
Yep.
needs to call. He is how did he put it?
Wow.
I can't remember how he put it, but he thinks of suicide as a way out of problems. And I don't
Fair
like,
enough.
it's always on his mind as,
Wow.
I've got this stuff going on. Oh, well, I could just kill
Yeah.
myself. And it's serious though. It's not like,
No, I get it. Yeah.
it's a serious thing. So he is always open to people like calling him night or day, which is amazing to me because
Uh,
he's,
Yeah, I know. I do the same thing.
yeah.
That's not suicide. That's not my gift. That's
Mhm.
totally not my gift. But I know how to make money, and what I do, I made myself famous by making money and making other people money. So my number is public everywhere. Like if you go on any of my social media, if you just Google my name, you're going to see my number, and I answer every text. I have so I've got two phones. Here is my private phone, the iPhone something's fancy. I have no idea what it
So
is. 12,
iPhone
I think
something.
yeah, it's like 12 or 13. I don't know which one we're on right now. And then here is the little smaller iPhone, right? The little smaller one. That's just what I call a fan phone, to where
Oh, great.
everybody message me. You can ask
Right.
me any 90%, and this is not the kind of truth. 90% of everything that I sell and do is free. No, listen, anybody who want to buy from me, you really don't have to. If you just go to my YouTube page or my podcast, I give it all away for free. You really do not have to buy. It's like the worst sales pitch ever. You do not have to buy from me because we're crossing the spirituality. I believe in reincarnation. So I'm just gonna put myself out there, right? Right. And I've incarnated on this planet to create heaven on earth. So the reason I'm giving away was 1.5 billion, whatever shit, because I give away 90% of all my wealth. I genuinely do. No, like right. So my company has 4 major missions: to end world hunger, to create 100,000 millionaires, to end the student loan debt crisis, and to make people who cannot sell whatsoever become the number one salespeople on planet Earth. A lot of that comes with technology or just classes or something. Right now, I'm teaching on one of my platforms, Python, and I'm not even like it's $5,000 for like 4 years. Don't even trip. I'll give it to every last person coming through your podcast for free. Like I don't. The only way I know how to say this, because I haven't figured out another way to say it, but God has been good to me. Until I figure out another way to say it,
Good way to say it.
Yeah, I don't know another way
It's a
to say
very
it,
good
right?
way to say it. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I am nowhere near millionaire status, although with the home prices the way they are, I'm getting there.
Well,
But
yeah, you'll be there. You'll be there in 2 weeks.
I'll be there soon.
You'll be there in 2 weeks.
Unbelievably. But I still have the same feeling that God has been
Yeah,
good to me.
God's
I've
been
been
good.
very, very fortunate, and that's I do attribute a lot of that to,
Period.
you know,
It's just something. There's
to the
something
power
going
of
on. Yeah.
attraction.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the power. And
Absolutely.
I'm glad that you started talking about the 100,000. You're trying to create 100,000 millionaires. You hope to be a billionaire by 2025. This is very interesting to me. And you want to give it away. This is interesting for 2 reasons. One, the stock market was created to put money back into society.
Gotcha.
That's why they made a stock market, so that you would raise money to pour back into society, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it has completely changed. So now people are just raising money to, I can't say steal
Mhm.
because I don't really believe in prosecuting people for success, but they're just raising money to raise money.
Fair enough. That's just a fact. We got Snapchat has never recorded a profit. Netflix is $25 billion in debt, right? Yeah. Anyway, so
what about Tesla? Have they recorded a profit yet? Have they made any money yet?
Not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is they sell more Bitcoin, or they have more Bitcoin than they do Tesla profits. But anyway, keep going, because you're on it right now. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but that is my. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there about billionaires being evil, and it being and I am oftentimes of that same thinking that how can you make billions of dollars? How can you not be pouring that in? And this isn't everybody, but there are a lot of people who are billionaires with companies that are paying minimum wage. Or the company's doing nothing. Like it's not contributing back to society. And it just, I just keep, there's more billionaires now than there's ever been in history. Well, that's partly because of the way the dollar is, the way the economy is. But it's still, I'm just flummoxed by how people are so against paying other people. Okay. They're so against helping other people, that they don't want to raise the minimum wage. If you're making billions and you take away a billion, it won't hurt you.
Well, I can't Scrooge McDuck and swim through my golden coins like the 90s cartoon, right?
My money mattress won't be soft enough.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm so glad you brought that up. And this is everything I'm about to say is verifiable. This morning on my YouTube channel, if you just type in VAT, like V as I'm from Texas, I'm sure you heard the letter D, the THE. You're gonna Texas draw. You hear we talk weird. The ATS Antonio Theodore Smith Jr. because I'm a junior. The ATS you'll find on YouTube. On YouTube right now, just this morning. So, and what happened when the pandemic started in 2019, I opened up my company and I started streaming on YouTube. And I said, listen, the pandemic is making me filthy rich. This is exactly what I told everybody. And I told them, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the doors of my company and y'all can steal everything. This is exactly what happened. And it's on YouTube. This is, I'm not putting nothing on it. It's on YouTube. It's completely documented. It's on my podcast. Since April 2019 to today, I still do a free morning call that has become, it used to be 30 minutes. Now it lasts like an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, because people are getting it, because I'm giving away so much information free. And just this morning, I said, you know what? It's about 37 of you that keep coming. This is what I'm going to do. I started an e-commerce company that picks 5 people a month, raises $5,000 per person, so $25,000 a month. I'm not on that list, and I'm giving away $5,000 a month to to these non-staff people. The minimum wage at my company is $22 an hour. The janitor, for God's sakes, makes $22 an hour. Like, I'm not joking.
Well, he deserves it. He's the one cleaning up the shit.
You are facts, right? Facts. We got 1 year maternal leave for women.
Beautiful. That's
paid
beautiful.
Maternal leave. I'm so freaking leftist when it comes to treating people right. When it comes to making money, I'm like, wait a minute. Now these taxes. So wait a minute. My Donald Trump is coming out. Trump is coming out.
I don't get that side of it either, but I understand that, I understand when you see how government works, how hard it is to let any of your money go. But you're doing what the government is not doing now. You're trying to spread the wealth. That's the word, spread the wealth. You're trying to do a real trickle down economy, which didn't work in the political world. It was a joke, but you're trying to do it for real, for absolutely for real.
Documented,
and that's amazing.
I appreciate it. It's beautiful. Documented on the internet. This is 100% verifiable facts. You see me live. Sometimes you'll hear me cuss and be like, this is some bullshit. We need to fix the middle class. And you would hear me go on a rant about how we are mistreating baby boomers, and I hate it. As a matter of fact, baby boomers, this is for you today. You would literally see me do something like this. It's all on the internet. It's 100%. And we talk about years of documentation of me acting like this. I'm not doing this for this podcast. Like, this is years, right, of documenting this here. Because, again, I don't know how to say this in a politically correct way. So I went from God is good. So I had to say, I'm going to say something bad, but somehow it's going to be positive. I'm not shit. I don't own shit. This isn't mine. I am a steward of this life. And I'm not allowed to tell you to tie 10% and then prostitute you for the 90%. This is inappropriate. This is completely inappropriate. If I don't teach you how to give while I'm giving first and more, then I'm genuinely not doing what I'm supposed to do on this planet. And so when me giving 1 point, literally, like, we pay student loan debts. We just, and here's the crazy, Joe, here's the crazy thing. I'm not doing this to like some 501c3. No. This is, we got, like, right now, I got one company with 27 bank accounts. And all 27 bank accounts.
How do you keep track of that?
They're under the same. They're under the same bank. They're under the same bank, and I get to look at the list. Okay. Yeah, I get to look at the list, right? I get to look at the list for sure. Technology, right? Here's the deal: all 27 of those accounts are for giving money away. And here's so you say, so what's the qualification for giving money away? Are you breathing? And are you trying? Because if you're not trying, that's got nothing to do with me. That's somebody else's ministry. That's nothing to do with me. That's somebody. I'm not saying you have to try. I'm just saying if you're not trying, I'm going to overlook you. That's me. Like, I've got a scholarship foundation that gives scholarships for people starting at 27 years old. Not 18, not 19, 27, because I didn't get my shit together, right?
Yeah, that's right. Right? So, but you're right. That's real. That's true leftist. That's a true. That is actual socialist thinking, which is what I would like to see happen. I mean, if there was just a handful of billionaires who had the same idea, then the world could be a much better place. I mean, I know that Bill Gates is giving away his money.
Yeah, and he's going to fall off the richest people in the world list real soon.
He should. Yeah.
Mackenzie Bezos too. Jeff. I hate to say Jeff. See, this is my left side coming out. Jeff Bezos' ex-wife seems so awful to say. She has a name. She's a person, but she's like donating plenty. Of money away. Yeah, no doubt.
And it's not just anger over the divorce. She started before they divorced.
Absolutely.
Just anger giving.
Yeah. You take this money. Yeah, right.
No, that started before.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
No, I don't deserve any. Well, so that's a contradiction again. In one respect, my left side said, no, that's not. My right side, no, I'm not sure which side. One of these sides say, I don't deserve it. The other side says is no, because I keep getting it because I truly feel like I deserve it, but I don't deserve to keep it. Like, abundance is meant to be shared.
And that's what I've always believed. And I think people would be much happier if they shared their abundance, because many people share abundance at every level. There's people who have nothing, but are going to share it with you if you show up on their doorstep.
Absolutely.
They're going to share it with you.
You got it. I mean, listen, I know, I'm sure somewhere out there's 15 dudes I could think about freely sharing an STD, knowing they're positive with something. I can at least, for every 15 of those people, right?
Sharing it without remorse. Not even thinking about it.
I can at least.
People share monkeypox right now
Right,
freely.
you know what I'm saying? Like I've seen viral videos of people coughing COVID on people,
God.
right?
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
could at least,
ouch.
I could at least share my knowledge. I just wrote a whole book, and I'm only saying it because we publicly did it. I just wrote a whole book for somebody and gave them the book, and then took my name off it, put their name on it, and said 100% royalties just for you. I just took two people, and I don't want to say I because I sounds bad. The light allowed me. There you go. There you go. I feel, there you go.
That's
Right
nice.
there you go. The light has allowed me. I just took two people and win a contest, and just money. But it's not money. It's not that I'm money motivated. It's just that I understand that if we keep mistreating the middle class, the world is going to go to hell in a handbasket fast. Because, we like to say this. The economists love to say, well, middle class is the backbone of the economy. Yeah, well, you don't mean that. Like, you mean the nurse is a backbone of the hospital. You don't mean it that way. You mean the middle class is the backbone of the economy because they pay more of the taxes. That's the way you mean it.
And they do the majority of the work.
Exactly.
They do the majority of the labor, whatever that labor might be, whether it's behind a desk or real world labor. Yeah,
exactly.
That's what we're talking about.
So you understand. Yeah, you completely understand. Yeah, exactly. We have to, and this is a deal. I come from the poor class. There's no doubt about it. I come from two different Americas where, like, I don't even feel like, so I got two sides of me. I feel like an American because I fought for my country, but I don't feel like I grew up an American because I grew up in extreme poverty in America. So my nation is poverty. It's not American. That doesn't mean I'm not loyal to the flag or nothing because I was joined the army. It just means that when you think of, like, if I say, everybody close your eyes and think of an American, I'm going to think of a white guy with a 5 o'clock shadow. Like, I'm not going to think of a black guy or Mexican guy or any guy. I'm going to think of a white guy. You know what I'm saying? Because my programming, which is respectable, everybody has it. I'm not going to think of myself as an American. But that's hard for people to understand because they're not a black guy with dreads that freely gives around money and takes out trash for women and stuff, right? You're not going to understand me because of that. But we have to enjoy sharing abundance because, and then just take an orange tree. If you have an orange tree and you say, oh, shoot, this is Antonio. I got an orange tree. It's mine. And if I eat all the oranges, I'm going to die of orange toxicity, which somehow strangely is a real thing. Like that's
wow.
That's a real thing. Yes, because it's so acidic. So I say, all right, right. So fine. I'm gonna eat what I want and keep the oranges. I'm not gonna share them with nobody. Okay, so the oranges, the universe is gonna knock those oranges to spirituality. We're gonna knock those oranges with the third law of thermodynamics, well, second law, most importantly, entropy of thermodynamics, and put them back into the ground which they came from. So I'm gonna lose the orange tree. The orange tree is gonna become barren. So if I can't eat them all and I can't save them all, then the only option is share them all. That is what could be more positive on this podcast than that point right there, right? You have to share abundance. But then what we do is we create laws. Well, you know what? Well, let's see. This is a DeSarno Cup. So DeSarno publicans, not Republicans, DeSarno publicans. We're going to say, this is our tree. No immigrants allowed, right? No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense at all, brother.
It doesn't make sense at all. No. It doesn't make sense at all. And it's still, I think one of the toughest problems, well, there's a lot of problems, but one of the hardest things is that we're trying to govern populations that didn't exist before. Even in the 60s, we never were trying to govern a population this big. We were never trying to govern this many people. When they wrote the Constitution, they were trying to govern a few folks. Yeah. I mean, it was literally a few towns around here, a few towns.
Yeah.
And they're trying to use the same idea 200 years later for 340 million people. And at the same time, they're trying to govern for the 4 billion people on the entire planet. I mean, that's part of the U.S.'s thing.
That's a major problem in itself, right?
Yeah, it's a big problem. I mean, how do you even do that? How do you begin? But more to your point, Google has been doing this for a long time, where they pay their people more, and Apple. They pay their people more. They give them luxury suites they basically give them living quarters to work in, and they make more money than anyone else. And I haven't figured out how other companies aren't catching on to this. It's because Amazon's not. Amazon's like, nope, we're going to minimum wage, and we're going to work the heck out of these guys. We're going to work them like dogs.
Punish you for unionizing too, right?
Yeah, we're going to punish you. And I was so shocked that Starbucks was against it.
Man,
I was shocked.
They
I was
are
like,
super liberal.
What are you doing?
You literally put Black Lives Matters on a cup. Let's have a conversation.
Exactly. What the heck? It's that whole thing about union has been, which is bizarre, but union has been put in that box of liberal. It's like unions were not, that's not how that started. Union started so people would stop dying at work. Union started so the little kids wouldn't have to work 12 plus hour days in a coal mine. That's where they come from.
That's facts.
And
facts.
they don't.
That's 100% fact. Every world power on planet Earth came from slave labor and child labor.
Right.
Every world power, Russia, China, America, Britain. So you're like slave labor, child labor.
Yep. I mean, we talk about the wealth of England. Where did the Queen with all her wealth, and they're so enamored with it, and U.S. seems to be so like, wow, that's so amazing, all those beautiful castles and things, and where did she get them?
Exactly.
Where did they get that money?
Yeah, they pillaged it from Africa and all of other places.
They took it. And they divided up the world after World War II.
Absolutely. That's why we got Egyptian cotton.
This is it, man.
That's why we got Egyptian cotton. Oh, you guys are going to do a civil war in America. We're just going to go to Egypt, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. No, man, I think this, like, if I had to die for anything, which I'm willing to do, obviously. So my philosophy in life is everything is perfect, and that's hard. I was gonna say as a black man, but as a man to say everything is perfect is hard. As a human to say everything is perfect is hard. As a black man to say everything is perfect, like I can think about all the contradictions why it's hard, but it's still at the end of the day, it's perfect. And what we have is the result of our collective consciousness. Therefore, we've created the perfect reality of our collective consciousness. And there are your Joels and your Antonios raising it, but then enough of the Joels and Antonios, the John Stewarts, right? You know what I'm saying? And while I'm very leftist, but I'm so conservative, I'm so liberal. And they actually got me in trouble in college because I don't like when it came to the scriptures. I was like, wait. That's not what's written. Wait. You just put philosophy in that scripture. Wait, don't do that. Don't do that. That is not what this writer was talking about right here. Like wait a minute, you went too far, professor, with this application. Like I literally got in trouble all the time. That's why I tell you, good trouble. In trouble all the time because I'm so conservative. So what's my conservatism? I believe in 6 things. I'm so conservative. I believe in 6 things. I'm gonna see if I can remember them. We are one. Damn, that might be one thing. Okay. Oh no, we are one. Yeah, that's it. I think I just dismissed 5 things. Yeah, that fast. Yeah. Love, light. Yeah, I believe in 3 things. There you go. All right, everybody. I believe in 3. Oh, free will. There it is. We are one. Love, light, free will. I believe in 4 things on planet Earth. That's how I am so conservative that I only believe in 4 things. Like imagine Donald Trump saying, I don't believe in anything but what I believe in. Like imagine that, right? I'm so conservative, I believe in 4 things. And since I only believe in 4 things, it makes me liberal as hell. Oh, you believe in that? Doesn't bother free will. It doesn't bother my free will. Doesn't bother my light. Doesn't bother my love. Doesn't bother Wheel One. Please tell me about it.
I think that is one of the biggest like fears of people in power and people that want a lot of power is free will. I mean, if you know, free will is a really scary thing for anyone who's into power. Just wants all they want is power. Free will is a scary, scary thing.
Okay, and Joe, you're acting like you're on the left right now.
Yeah, I know. Yep, acting like I'm the left. Well, and I'll be honest with you. In the last 2.5 years since rioting broke out and etc. And the plight of the KKK has risen up in a way that I never thought imaginable in our current world. It really has opened my eyes about how much people are held, and it's a lot of people. I mean, the middle class, you keep saying, the middle class too. How much people are held down, are being, purposefully held back and systematically. Legally. That's the word.
Yep.
Yeah.
Economically, all of it.
Yeah.
Whatever word you can think of is facts.
Yeah. Yeah. And if people really had free will, the world could be very different. It could be a very different thing. And I'm not that money motivated. I believe you are. And I'm not saying that as good or bad. It's just a difference in what our mission is, maybe, whatever it is.
Yeah, because I'm so no, you're absolutely right. I want to get $100 billion. So when I do a test, so I do it. This is very good, Joe. I do a test to where I say, okay, everybody, I want you to die. Like, wait a minute, I'm not going to die, young man. Oh, well, calm down. I don't mean like actually die. Just pretend you're dead. And you get to aspire in your funeral. And the most important people in your life, they speak about you at your funeral. And of course, and I always tell everybody, you ain't got that many important people in your life whose opinions you care about. And everybody has 6 or less. And most people have around 3. Like it'd be like my daughter, right? My husband, something like that, right? Just 3 people. Yeah, exactly. And I said, I want you to take their whole 2-minute expression about you and put it into 1 or 2 words. And I've done this thousands of times, maybe tens of thousands of times. And only 2 people on this planet have said money. Some weird guy who has a lot of money right now, and me, and me. So I am clearly money motivated, but not because I like money. I want to get to $100 billion. I want to give 90% of the way because I'm convinced in my head that the city I'm attempting to build to create heaven on earth that gets rid of money costs $90 billion.
Oh, you've got a number. You've got a number in mind.
I have a number in mind.
I almost think we got to do another podcast to talk about that. Just to talk about that.
I got to bring you on mine.
I'd love to come on your podcast. I've been on so few. I'd love to come on your podcast.
No, we'll take care of that. As soon as we go off air, that would be good. I will call Deanna. She was scheduled that immediately. That's MEGI. Nice. Immediately.
Very good. Yeah, I think we should start wrapping it up.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Just because we've been doing this a little while, and
holy crap! It's been an hour and 39 minutes.
Isn't that cool?
Oh my god!
Because you are
some Joe Rogan numbers right now.
I would like to have some Joe Rogan numbers. It's funny because that is the person who inspired me to do this. He had Kevin. Kevin Smith on his podcast, and Kevin Smith was talking
like the director,
about,
Kevin Smith.
You're the director.
He's made me start a film company.
Oh, that's awesome! Because he was saying, anyone could do what you do, but no one could do it like Joe Rogan. But anyone could do this, and I was like, really? But I want to wrap it up with my questionnaire. Yeah, sure. I have a short questionnaire, and I'm really loving your presence. So I know these answers will be different.
Okay.
Here we go.
I am weird.
Do you like turtles?
No.
Okay.
Stupid little slow things.
Ever thought about doing a podcast of your own? Well, I don't need to ask that. You've done a podcast.
Yeah.
Do you believe in luck? This is always a good one.
No.
Okay.
Well, no. Short answer is no. I have a longer answer, but no. The answer is no. I believe luck is work your ass off. And from that vibration, lucky things are happen. That's what I believe. Yeah.
All right. Social media, good or bad?
Bad.
Bad.
The worst thing that ever happened to the internet, but I make a ton of money off of it.
Well,
so thank you so much. Just because I don't like something don't mean I'm not going to take advantage of it.
Well, there you go. Do you have a favorite podcast other than your own?
No, yeah, of course. My favorite podcast right now is the Jordan Peterson podcast. Right now, I think Jordan Peterson, the clinical psychologist, super right. Like he's not even libertarian, right?
I think he is libertarian. I
was going to put him further than libertarian.
After a while,
I was going to put him further than libertarian.
He kind of talks in circles sometimes, I think, because he's so smart. He was actually one of the people I was referring to about the political correct movement. They got railroaded out of a job because he was saying things that were true. And
true.
It was
no
true.
Doubt.
But anyway, he was one of them. You get any new furniture lately?
A Scotch glass.
I
call that furniture.
You can set it near you, and it's going to keep you comfortable.
That's it. That's it.
What is the last thing you bought online, or someone else bought at your behest?
Bought a spell book, actually. The last thing I bought online was a spell book. Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
And that was for you, or that?
I bought it as a gift for. I bought it as a gift for a witch. So
interesting.
Yeah. So I have a witch friend who has a powerful witch friend like me, and she's in Honduras. She hand rolled me 2 hand rolled cigars.
Oh, wow.
And you never accept a gift from a witch, ever. But the energy on the cigars was so fantastic, I sent her 2 gift backs. And one of those was a spell book.
Okay.
That just happened.
Excellent. That's cool. Yeah. That's a great story. I'm starting to like my questionnaire. Have you broken any laws lately?
Every day. Every single day. Every single day. I hate rules. I hate laws. I just don't break the one.
Oh my gosh. I've heard of where police will follow someone, for like a few minutes, and they'll count how many laws they break. Just normal driving around.
Yeah.
You ever want to do something else for a living? Did you ever have another dream job?
Yes, I totally want to exploit some pretty girl with big breasts and pretty toes. I totally want to give her an OnlyFans and then make $40,000 a month for no reason at all. But wear your big breasts. Don't like show them, but then show your toes for all the foot fetish people. I think about that all day long.
That's a very unique dream job for sure. That's a very unique one.
Well, my wife has the most beautiful feet on the planet, and she used to be a foot model, so I guess it's like in my brain somewhere. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, foot model. Do you believe in talent?
No.
It's kind of related to the luck question in a way.
That's it. I gave a consistent answer to this. No,
that's good.
I don't believe in talent. I do, but I don't. But most of me does not. I don't believe in talent, but I also don't believe that you can become an entrepreneur. I think you have to be born one. Entrepreneurship comes from you got to take a lot of pain. And I'm a minority when thinking about that. If you can't take a lot of pain, you shouldn't be an entrepreneur.
That's good. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense to me.
Your podcast.
We've already
I'm sure
answered.
It's a lot of pain.
Yeah. Failure is part of it, right? You gotta fail to succeed.
Yeah, buddy.
So we already answered this one, but I'll ask it again. Do you believe in a life after this?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I do. I believe in 8 densities, law of one, reincarnation, and then an infinite 8 densities. And I believe that all of us, there are no mistakes, and all of us are always ascending. And karma, as we understand it, is to kindest, cruel thing pushing against you to wake you up and to send you to a higher level.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. But it's funny when you talked about the funeral analogy. I always think, well, no, when I'm dead, I'm not going to care. I'm done. I'm done. I'm moving on.
That's all right.
That's
So
what's
you
done,
believe,
man.
Yeah. So even people who believe in heaven believe in reincarnation. You just believe you're going to be a spirit.
That kind of, I guess that's
Go
true.
down to
Yeah.
heaven. Yeah.
Right. That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I always say that even scientists believe in reincarnation because you're going to be atoms. If you just believe in science, you're going to turn into atoms. You're still going to be around. You're going to be something.
There it is.
You're going to be part of that universe that we have now conceived of with these amazing pictures.
Absolutely. With the new telescope, right? The JSWT, right? All that stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Man, absolutely mind-boggling.
Somehow me and you have nothing in common, but everything in common at the same time, right?
Right.
Like that's awesome, right?
That's true.
Awesome.
That's totally true. Oh, man. I thank you so much for coming on the podcast. There was one more question I forgot to ask. Can I just call you Mr. T?
Yeah,
does anyone call you that?
No, nobody calls me that. But after that, I'm gonna give you some gold chains,
Mr. T,
and I'm a pity the fool.
All right, that's lovely. Oh, yeah. Well, thanks so much for coming on. It's been a really amazing conversation from the minute, even before we started.
Way before. It took 30 seconds.
It did. That was nice. All right, and so I will just say, you've been listening to Were You Still Talking? This is Joel Albrecht, and I've been talking to Antonio T. Smith Jr., or as I know him now, Mr. T, and we will have way more information about all this stuff we've been talking about in the show notes. If you want to find any of those links to his YouTube, links to all the other things we were talking about. Plus, we're gonna do more of this. We're gonna do more of this style podcast because this was really incredible. So thank you so much. As I always say, be good to each other and be good to yourself.